You're wobbling at 5 miles an hour, but you can hold 60 in a straight line no problem. That's not a coincidence. That's a skill gap. This is Motorcycle Technique Explained. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you're learning to ride. Highway speed is actually easier to balance on than parking lot speed. That sounds backwards, but there's a simple reason for it. At speed, a motorcycle has momentum on its side. Small wobbles get smoothed out because the bike is already moving in a stable line, and it takes a real disturbance to knock it off that line. There's also some gyroscopic effect from the spinning wheels that contributes to that stability, though this might surprise you. Engineers and physicists still debate exactly how much of a bike's high-speed stability comes from gyroscopic forces versus other factors, like weight distribution and steering geometry. It's genuinely more complicated than the spinning wheels hold you up explanation you'll see repeated online. What's not up for debate is the practical result. More speed generally means more built-in stability. Drop down to walking pace and most of that built-in stability disappears. There's no momentum carrying you through small mistakes anymore. Now the bike wants to fall over, and the only thing keeping it up is you. Your throttle control, your brake control, and your body position all working together in real time, correction by correction.
That's why so many riders can carve a canyon road all weekend and then drop their bike in a parking lot in front of everyone. It's not a confidence problem. It's not really a balance problem either. It's a power management and body position problem, and almost nobody teaches it directly. So today, we're going to break down one of the best drills for building that skill, the figure-8. Not just how to do it, but why every piece of it works the way it does. So you're not just memorizing steps, you actually understand what your hands, feet, and eyes are doing and why. We're going to cover 4 things: the friction zone, the rear brake, counterweighting, and where you're actually looking. Stick around to the end because I'll also give you the drill progression that riding schools use to build this from zero, starting even before you touch the clutch. Let's get into it. First thing, your clutch has 3 zones: lever fully released, where the plates are pressed together and the engine is fully connected to the rear wheel; lever fully pulled in, where those plates separate and the engine disconnects completely. And in between those two, there's a narrow window, maybe half an inch of lever travel on most bikes, where the clutch plates are only partially gripping. That's the friction zone, and it is one of the most important skills in all of slow-speed riding.
Here's why it matters. At walking pace, most motorcycles aren't geared to move that slowly with the clutch fully engaged. Let the clutch all the way out in first gear at idle, and the bike will lurch, buck, or stall. The engine just can't turn the rear wheel smoothly at that lower road speed. So instead of releasing the clutch all the way, you find that friction zone and you hold it there. You're letting just enough power through to keep the bike rolling, while the clutch itself absorbs the difference between engine speed and wheel speed. The mistake almost every new rider makes is treating the clutch like an on-off switch. Out means go, in means stop. At slow speed, that gives you exactly the jerky, unpredictable power delivery that causes wobbles and stalls. Instead, you want to bring the clutch to that friction point, add a little steady throttle to keep your RPMs from sagging, and then leave it there. Don't chase it, don't feather it in and out, find it, hold it, and let your other controls do the fine-tuning. A common way instructors describe finding it: get the engine slightly revved up, a few hundred RPM above idle, and ease the clutch out just until you feel the bike start to pull forward, that faint tug where the RPMs dip slightly. That's your zone.
If you've never isolated this feeling before, here's a drill riding schools use to teach it, and it doesn't even require you to actually ride yet. Sit on the bike, first gear, engine running, both feet on the ground. Slowly release the clutch until the bike wants to walk forward on its own, and just walk alongside it, feet on the pavement, letting the friction zone pull you across the lot. Pull the clutch back into stop. Back and forth across an empty lot until your hand knows exactly where that zone lives without you having to look down or think about it. That muscle memory is the foundation everything else builds on. The rear brake, the body position, the eyes, none of it works cleanly if your clutch hand is still hunting for the friction zone instead of holding it steady. Second piece, the rear brake, and this is where a lot of riders get nervous because everything you learned about braking at speed says use both brakes, front does most of the work. Set that aside for slow speed maneuvers. Down here, it's rear brake only, and the front brake is off the table.
Here's why. At speed, in a straight line, weight transfers forward under braking, which loads up the front tire and makes the front brake your primary stopping power. On a bike moving at road speed, it typically accounts for the large majority of total stopping force, though the exact split depends on the bike, tires, and road surface. But at walking pace, with the handlebars turned and the bike leaned into a tight arc, that same front brake becomes a liability instead of an asset. Grab it with the bars cranked over at a crawl and you compress the fork, the front contact patch geometry shifts instantly, and the wheel could wash out from under you. At that speed, there isn't enough momentum to save you if it lets go. You go down, usually toward the inside of the turn, which is one of the reasons instructors are so insistent about avoiding the front brake in any tight, slow maneuver. So what does the rear brake actually do for you instead? Once you're sitting in the friction zone with steady throttle, you're technically giving the bike a bit more power than it needs to just barely creep forward. That extra power is what keeps the engine from bogging and stalling. But now the bike wants to go slightly faster than you want it to. That's where the rear brake comes in. You drag it lightly and continuously against that friction zone power. The engine pushes forward, the rear brake gently resists, and that push and resist relationship is what lets you dial in a controllable crawling speed, slower and steadier than the clutch and throttle could manage alone. Some instructors call this the clutch-throttle-rear brake relationship, 3 inputs working together for one result, a smooth, stall-resistant crawl. It's the same combination taught in police motor officer training, where riders practice crossing a marked lane, something like 40 feet, holding that rear brake drag the whole distance, engine gently fighting the brake the entire way across. If you can keep that fight going smoothly for 40 feet without stalling or lurching, you've basically got the skill.
One thing worth addressing directly, dragging the rear brake at slow speed sometimes gets dismissed online as a crutch, a sign you can't do it with throttle alone. Ignore that. It's standard technique, taught in professional and police-level training specifically because it works. The goal isn't to look effortless, it's to keep the bike upright. Third piece, and this is the one that feels the most backwards if you've been riding a while. What your body does in a slow, tight turn is close to the opposite of what it does in a fast one. At speed, you lean with the bike. Rider and machine tip into the corner together as one unit. That's the position you've built thousands of miles of muscle memory around. Bring that same instinct down to 5 miles an hour with the bars cranked over, and it works against you. Lean your body with the bike at a crawl, and you're adding your weight in the direction the bike is already falling. You'll tip right over into the turn.
So instead, at slow speed, you counterweight. The bike leans into the turn, sometimes surprisingly far, while your body stays upright and roughly vertical rather than tipped with it. You shift your weight to the outside cheek pressed onto the seat, sometimes compared to a Heisman Trophy pose, weight braced against the outside peg. That outside weight is what holds the bike down into its lean instead of letting it fall further, while your upright torso keeps your own body weight from adding to the tip. Think of it as your body acting like a counterbalance, a weight position to hold an otherwise unstable lean in place, similar in principle to how a tightrope walker uses a pole held out to the side. The bike does the leaning. You provide the counterweight that keeps that lean from turning into a fall. Handlebar input matters here too. For the tightest, slowest figure-8s, you want the bars turned close to full lock in the direction of the turn. Generally, the more locked the bars are, the tighter the circle you can hold at a given speed. For everyday riding, like a U-turn on a normal width street, you won't need full lock, but training the skill at full lock in a parking lot is what makes the real-world version feel easy by comparison. So in a figure-8, you're not looking at the cone or marker you're circling around, you're looking through the turn, out toward the next point you're heading to before you actually get there. Peripheral vision handles the obstacle right in front of you. Your focused vision should already be planning ahead. Put all 4 pieces together, and here's what a clean figure-8 actually looks like. Clutch parked steady in the friction zone, throttle holding a consistent low RPM, rear brake dragging lightly to fine-tune your creep speed, bars near full lock, your body upright and counterweighted to the outside, and your eyes already up and through the turn toward your next line. 4 inputs running simultaneously, all in service of one goal, a bike that stays upright and predictable at a speed where you don't have momentum doing the work for you. Now, how do you actually build this without dropping your bike 20 times in the process? Don't start with tight figure-8s. Start wide. Find an empty, flat parking lot. Early Sunday morning at a closed business is the classic choice, and set up 2 markers, cones, water bottles, whatever you've got, roughly 20 to 30 feet apart. Before you even try a figure-8, isolate the pieces individually. Start before the engine's even running. Sit on the bike, feet flat on the ground, and just rock it side to side underneath you. Feel where the balance point is. Feel how far you can let it lean before it starts to feel unstable, and get comfortable countering that with your legs and core. No clutch, no throttle, nothing. This is purely about getting your body used to the bike moving under you instead of with you, which is the same feeling you'll need for counterweighting later. Second, the friction zone walk we already covered. Engine running, clutch only, feet down, feeling that engagement point. Third, once that feels natural, try riding a straight line as slowly as you possibly can, using the clutch and rear brake together to hold that crawl without your feet coming down. Fourth, once that's comfortable, start looping wide arcs between your 2 markers. Not tight figure-8s yet, just big, lazy loops, focused purely on keeping the bike moving smoothly through the friction zone with a light brake drag. Fifth, bring in the counterweighting in the eyes, and only then start tightening the loops into an actual figure-8, closing the distance between your markers a little at a time as the whole combination starts to feel automatic rather than effortful.
Every one of these steps is going to feel unnatural at first, and that's expected. You're actively overriding instincts built from every mile you've ridden at higher speed. You'll want to look down. You'll want to lean with the bike. You'll probably stall it, drag a boot, or put a foot down more than once, and that's a normal part of the process, not a sign you're bad at this. Riders in structured training courses spend real dedicated range time on this exact progression before they're considered proficient at slow speed control. It's not something anyone picks up in 5 minutes. Go slow with the drill itself, too. Rushing to tighten your figure-8 before the friction zone and rear brake feel automatic is a common way people stall out mid-turn and put a foot or the whole bike down. Widen it back out, reset, and try again. Here's why this drill is worth the parking lot time. A lot of avoidable, expensive drops happen at exactly this speed range. Walking pace, tight quarters, a U-turn on a narrow street, backing out of a parking spot, creeping through stop-and-go traffic. Not the highway, not the canyon, right here at 5 miles an hour, where it feels like nothing should go wrong.
Work on the friction zone, the rear brake, your body position, and your eyes, and a lot of those "how did I drop my bike doing basically nothing" moments become far less likely. It stops being a skill gap and starts being something your hands and feet do without you thinking about it. The same way 60 miles an hour in a straight line already is for you. If this breakdown helped, subscribe for more instructional deep dives like this one, drop a comment with what you want covered next. U-turns, emergency braking, or trail braking into corners are all on the list. And as always, ride safe.